Square Cow Countdowns. Howdy folks, I'm Slash. Hope you don't mind getting wet, because this video is going to be like sitting in the front row at Aqua World. You're guaranteed to get soaked. That's right, we're counting down the top 10 best aquatic levels in games. Don't forget to bring a towel. Since we just did snow levels, water seemed to be the next logical step, because that's what you get when snow melts. We're going to keep the same rules as last time. It doesn't matter whether there's enough water for you to swim in or just wade in. So long as there's water in the level, they're fair game. For the sake of variety, I'm limiting myself to one level per game and only one game per franchise. Also, I can't use any levels from games that I've never played before. In a few instances on this list, entire games or planets might be put on the list because they take place near so much water or are made up entirely of water. Keep in mind that this list is mostly based on my own personal opinion, which will probably be different from your opinions. If you agree with me, great, tell me about it in the comments. And if you don't agree with me, well then tell me about that too. It's time to stop dipping our feet in the pool. Get ready to dive in because the countdown starts right now. Number 10. Spiderman PS4. No, I'm not kidding. What are you looking at me like that for? There's water in New York. Manhattan is an island, for crying out loud. There's also a lot of research stations that have Spidey try and save New York by doing stuff to the water. And, some spiders can skate on water. Well, Spider-Man can't. But, oh, alright, fine. I just really wanted an opportunity to talk about this game because it's fantastic. From now on, I promise I won't throw any more curveballs. Or maybe I will. I may have crossed my fingers when I made that promise since you can't see me. Number 9. Planet Aquos. Star Fox 64 3D is the only Star Fox game I've played. Unless you count that god-awful GameCube abomination Adventures as a Star Fox game, which I don't. Besides, I only played a level or two and then I felt really sick and couldn't bring myself to ever play it again. But we're not talking about that pile of poo, we're talking about this breath of fresh air. Great controls, great gameplay, fun missions, and for the 3D version, the circle pad works surprisingly well, so it never has a negative effect on the experience like some other 3DS games. While not necessarily as exciting as the other planets in the game, Aquos is still a solid water level. Or would it be a liquid level? It can't be a gas level, that would be Jupiter or something. What? It's a science joke! I thought it was funny. Number 8. Deep Trouble. Deep Trouble has a spot-on name, as it implies you get into deep trouble deep under the ocean. The most troublesome obstacle are those stupid propellers. They create whirlpools that can suck you in and kill you, so you can't just rush through the level. You have to take your time and be patient until you learn the timing of the propellers. To make matters worse, sometimes there'll be a pufferfish right before, in the middle of, or after a set of propellers, because now you have to wait for timing windows from two different obstacles. The propellers need to be off, and the pufferfish needs to be, not puffed out, I guess. Deflated? Whatever. Oh, and this level also has the red gem, so once you beat the level, you have to turn around and go back to the halfway point in the opposite direction, which means you have to deal with the propellers all over again. And even if you make it back, you still have to survive the secret path to get both gems. It's no easy task, but the great controls make it a perfectly fair challenge. This is exactly what a water level should be. Number 7. Aquarium Park. If you were to create a graph to represent the quality of the Sonic franchise, it would be rockier than the Rocky Mountains. Every now and then a really great Sonic game comes along and helps us forget all the crap that came before it. And then more crap comes out and the cycle starts all over again. In Sonic Colors, Sonic makes his way through an underwater world in a way that still provides the flow-like feel every water level should have, without leaving a negative impact on his trademark speed. Aquarium Park does offer a slower pace than some other stages, but not in a way that feels sluggish or unnatural for a Sonic game. Plus, the music. Number 6. Soda Lake. Soda Lake is probably just a name because I don't think you could actually have a lake made of real soda. I mean, Butter Bridge isn't made of butter and Cookie Mountain isn't made of cookies, but we're not talking about those. We're talking about Soda Lake, which has machines that literally throw torpedoes at you. See, look, tiny little hands come out and throw them at you. The first time I ever beat this level as a kid and discovered one of the many secret entrances to Star Road, I felt like a genius and have loved Soda Lake ever since. Oh, and by the way, if there was to be a lake of soda, it should totally be made with 7-Up and not Sprite, because Pepsi is awesome, and Coke is, well, not. If the world came to a screeching halt and Coke was the only option, I'd drink it, but I'd be wishing it was Pepsi. Vote in the comments about which one is better. Number 5. The Underwater Reactor. Final Fantasy VII is such a great game. It's not my favorite in the series. That would be Final Fantasy IX, but it's definitely in the top 5. Weird how I'm talking about this game twice in as many countdowns. Whatever. In the later half of Disc 2, your party ventures deep beneath the town of Junon into an underwater reactor in order to steal some huge materia before Shinra can load it onto a submarine. This is a very eerie part of the game. You can almost feel the water pressure from the ocean outside you as you descend down deeper and deeper. You also fight weird monsters in here, like a ghost ship, which is literally a skeleton built into a pirate ship, and these equally weird saw-blade fish things. This is how you get the submarine, so bonus points for that, because riding around underwater is pretty cool. I just wish that the submarine was yellow. Number 4. Aquaria Towers. The only inhabitants of this level seem to be seahorses and metal sharks. Yes, metal sharks. They're terrifying. For some unexplained reason, Aquaria Towers has big red buttons all over the place that drain all the water away. They clearly need water to survive, so why the hell do they have all these buttons? Their king doesn't seem too bright either. The kingdom is under attack by enemies called water workers, who drained away all the water and kidnapped the king's children and hid them at the top of the 6 towers scattered throughout the level. But instead of mounting a rescue mission or having some of his subjects go and get his kids back, Father of the Year just floats there like he doesn't give a shit. Number 3. Inside Jabu Jabu's belly. You might think that this isn't a water level, but I disagree. Fish swim in water and you're inside a giant fish, so screw you. And while we're at it, screw the water temple too. There's only so many times you can switch between the iron boots and the normal boots before you start to go insane. Why do so many people overlook this dungeon? It's hilarious and completely ridiculous. You're exploring inside the stomach of a gigantic fish, which for some reason has various rooms, doors, and different floors. There's also these weird zip things that serve as buttons to open those doors. Why is there a map of Jabu Jabu's belly inside Jabu Jabu's belly? Like, which cartographer woke up one morning and decided to let a giant fish eat him just so he could map out its stomach cavities? And I don't even want to know how long that boomerang has been down there. I've always loved this level. The only thing keeping it from being any higher on the list is, of course, Princess Rudo. Number 2. Wet Dry World. There's a couple of water levels from Mario 64 that I could have put on the list, but my favorite has always been Wet Dry World. Its gimmick is the tide. Scattered throughout the area, there's a bunch of switches that will raise or lower the tide in the level. Depending on which mission you're doing, you may need the water to be really high or completely gone, and experimenting with the different switches to raise and lower the water is a lot of fun. One section of Wet Dry World can only be accessed when the tide is at its highest point. Swim all the way through the tunnel and hope you don't drown, and you'll find an abandoned city where the red coin challenge is. Also, another cool thing about the level is that the height of your jump into the painting will determine how high the tide will be when you enter. That's so cool! Number 1. Sink or Swim. Uncharted 3's plot keeps bouncing around to so many different locations that it's kind of hard to follow. I mean, all in the same game, you explore the streets of London, a vast desert, a French mansion that catches fire with you still inside it, and even a sinking luxury cruise liner, just to name a few. That previously mentioned sinking ship is the level I chose for this list because it's awesome and intense. Sink or Swim, as it's called in the game, has you not only try to escape a sinking ship that Drake is responsible for sinking, but you also have to fight off a seemingly endless army of goons while you're doing so. It's such a creative and unique level because the boat is actually rotating and moving around as you try to escape it. There are some moments where you're at a 90-degree angle and others where you're completely upside down. It's so amazing. Except for that annoying chase sequence. That part I could do without. Naughty Dog, if you're listening, please hurry up with The Last of Us Part 2, and pretty please don't retire Nathan Drake just yet. I still think he has at least one more good adventure left in him. Alrighty then, that was my list of the top 10 best aquatic levels in games. Make sure you dry yourselves off. You don't want to get a rash, because that sucks. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please consider subscribing to my channel. It would mean a lot to me. In the last countdown, I screwed up the placement of the arrow graphic that's supposed to point at the playlist card, because apparently you can't move the card to wherever you want it. I still miss annotations. Oh well. Click here to go check out the playlist of all the other countdowns I've done so far. There's quite a lot of them at this point. Thanks for watching, and until next time, peace out.